guys about. The first thing is...
We're going to climb the ladder.
We're going to climb the ladder into replayable escape rooms, Tone.
Oh, Christina's watching. She said same day, 5 p.m.
We look forward to seeing you at 5 p.m. Let's talk about a little more about this replayable escape room.
No, it's 5 p.m. there.
Oh, it's 5 p.m. there. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Time to grab a drink. Hatch Escapes recently started a Kickstarter in hopes to raise money for the first ever replayable escape room. The game, known as The Letter, is 90 minutes where players take the role of employees at a nutrition company with a dark secret. The players have to climb the corporate ladder through different generations from 1949 through 1999.
Is this an at-home game?
No, this is their game. They're making it at, I believe, at their location.
Oh, so this is you go somewhere and play this. It's a 90-minute game. They're raising the money to make it through Kickstarter.
Yep, I believe their Kickstarter goal is about $25,000. Now, what makes the game replayable for them is that they want to put secret content, hidden content within the game that you would discover each different time that you gain, truly making it a replayable experience.
And what's this thing called?
This is called The Ladder from Hatch Escape Rooms.
I want to see where they're at.
Absolutely.
The Ladder, Hatch, Escape Room, Kickstarter. Let's see where they're at in their Kickstarter. Here it is. The world's first truly replayable escape room. Wow! They're at $12,242 of $25,000.
So they actually have a pretty solid following. People want to see this game happen. So what... If you were to make an entirely replayable escape room, I mean, the amount of difficulty that goes into creating two experiences for the same game.
Well, their budget for the whole game is less than we spend on a normal game, so we wouldn't be able to make something replayable at that cost.
No, definitely not. So to you then, if you were to play a replayable escape room, something that you would have to go more than once, what elements would you want to see change within the escape room?
The whole thing.
So you'd want different scenery, different everything.
Yeah. That's why, to me, replayable in this doesn't necessarily work. We've seen companies, I guess we'll call it reskin games, where it's the exact same set design, but they change puzzles within it.
Oh, okay, so you're basically walking into a different world, but say it's just like with upgraded puzzles, quote unquote.
Yeah, so that's inexpensive to do. I shouldn't even say that's inexpensive to do because it's really not. But it's not quite as bad as rebuilding the whole thing. Now, having said that, Chris, for example, has talked about how now that so much of, for example, Freak Show is automated. Mm-hmm. To an extent, even so much of QRZ is automated.
Almost entirely the game, save for a couple puzzles.
You could reprogram elements so that they change over and different things activate them.
Okay.
So, for example, like your better example would be QRZ because you haven't played Freak Show yet.
Correct.
But with QRZ, what makes the doors open and change their light color to know where to go can be anything.
Right. Yeah, right now it's one certain thing at a certain point in the game that I'm not going to spoil.
Right.
But...
So, essentially, we're talking about ride control systems.
Yes.
And you can reprogram what controls what.
Okay.
So you can get a different game that is fully replayable. You just have to have all that content written. I don't know how up to the challenge anyone would be on this.
That's hats off to Hatch Escape Rooms for wanting to try to create an entirely replayable escape room.
I mean, how many video games are truly replayable, where it's a completely new game every time you play?
That's a little bit strange, or I would say that's even slightly different because certain games that even have the same content still hold that replay value.
Right. Where
you want to go and revisit where you kind of did before to find the missed things that, the things that you missed before. I don't think you'll play in a video game that's entirely different, except maybe if any of my video game nerds are out there, Undertale is a game where if you play it once and do things certainly, you get almost an entirely different game. But if I'm going to replay an escape room, I'd probably want everything to be different, like you had said. I'd want this entire set to be changed.
And that's what I'm getting at. Even like, for example, Telltale Adventures does video games where the game is different each time you play, but it's essentially the elements that you're playing are different, but the sets are still the same.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And a lot of the same moments are repetitive, and it's. I've never seen anything truly replayable.
Even as far as like
everything is different.
Even as far as like cutscenes go, because if you play the same game twice,
you're still seeing almost the same stuff.
And you skip those cutscenes when you replay the game. You can't necessarily skip cutscenes in an escape room. Yeah,
some of my favorites have even been where you've got, for example, like costume changes or elements, and then the cutscenes are the old costume. I've seen that plenty of times. I've seen that in Batman games where like you're in a totally different looking suit because of choices you've made.
Oh, and then the
cutscene is the original suit.
That's the Telltale Batman series, right?
The Arkham series.
Arkham series. Like that's what it was. Yeah.
Viva Todd Vegas is watching with us today. Welcome. And truly replayable, a game would have to have major head-to-head components somehow. That is what makes video games replayable. I don't see how it could be done. Neither can we.
I look forward to seeing how they bring this to fruition then, because I'd love to see if it's a success. I'd love to see exactly how it is a success.
Sure. I'm always open to seeing something revolutionary take part. But again, video games have the convenience of being completely computer generated.
That's true. Absolutely. When you walk into the physical,
they can't even do it.
How are you gonna physically
I want to know how you're gonna physically manifest a replayable set.
No, that's Hatch. If you get your 25,000 and you open up this escape room, shoot me an email because I'll come check it out. I need 100%. To know. So we'll go ahead and hop into our next topic then.
Oh, you know what? Actually, before you jump into that,
one
other thing I would like to say to them though is massive congratulations on raising any money on Kickstarter.
Kickstarter is hard, and I see a lot of ridiculous things go up on Kickstarter.
It requires a fan base.
It does. You need to have a solid following.
Yes. So I've seen Kickstarter campaigns for escape rooms go up in smoke. So hats off.
Yeah, not even just the Kickstarters for escape rooms, and this is on more of a sad note, but people who try to raise money for chemotherapy or just kind of
try to get more of a not Kickstarter but
GoFundMe. Kickstarter's more for business startups, right? Okay, yeah. So I've seen even GoFundMe things though, because it's kind of in that same thing. You create a reason to raise money, and you put the word out through social media. I've seen people trying to raise money for chemotherapy or trying to put payments on their house or whatever else that doesn't get put up to fruition. Now this is a little bit different.
This is a little bit different.
They have a fan base.
They're for all intents and purpose for any of their value things, they're probably giving tickets.
That's true.
So, it's almost a pre-sale platform.
You know what? That is true.
That's how businesses tend to operate these. It's technically a pre-sale platform. A lot of technology companies will unveil a new product and they'll launch it on Kickstarter. And if you're one of the first donators, you get the product. It's
the same thing with Kickstarters for apps and video games. If you donate to this, you get a certain thing or whatever else.
You're pre-purchasing.
Yeah, basically.
They're just getting away from tax elements of that and things like this. So, by all means, more power to you. But GoFundMe is more of a situation where, like you said, it's more personal.
Yeah.
It's more, I need this for X. And not for nothing, but we've seen cases already on GoFundMe where things were very fraudulent.
Mm-hmm.
That the intent and purpose was not what was outlined in the description.
Absolutely.
So it's very hard to trust.
So Kickstarter over GoFundMe in that sense, then?
Well, it's not so much of this over that. It's the fact that, where you're saying, people with chemotherapy that have crashed and burned. A lot of people don't necessarily believe that money's really going to go towards the chemotherapy.
I see.
People look at GoFundMe as more of you're just trying to scam me out of money.
I would donate to more of the honest causes if you were just honest about it. Funny story, I had a buddy start a GoFundMe campaign. I guess he was having a rough week or a rough month, what have you, and he started a GoFundMe campaign to go buy a sandwich.
Yeah, I'm never donating to that GoFundMe. I'm not donating to the I can't make my mortgage payment GoFundMe. If I happen to know you and know that you're going through cancer and you can't afford chemotherapy, then I'm more likely to go donate to that GoFundMe.
That's true.
But even if I know you and you say, I can't make my rent this month, donate to my GoFundMe. Dude, get a second job and do some more hours. I don't know what, like, that's different. That's different.
No, and you're
get
absolutely
a job,
correct.
Al.
I'm talking to you, Al. We know you're watching. We'll hop into our next topic then.
And we hope you'll join us next time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't below. Like, comment, subscribe.